But how can the energy generated by magic affect people? Recall that in the previous chapters, we described the characteristics of aliens, that is, jinns. Since more than 99% of the atoms that make up the third dimension, which is the realm we see, live and perceive, are empty, the beings consisting of subatomic particles that make up the fourth dimension can easily pass through the voids in 3D objects without difficulty, just like sunlight passing through glass. In fact, as scientists have pointed out, the reason humans cannot pass through a wall filled with empty spaces is solely due to the gravitational force created by the electrons revolving around atoms. If this gravitational force did not exist, atoms made of gaps could pass through another atoms made of gaps. In other words, matter could pass through matter like a ghost. Indeed, according to Islamic sources, when Adam was created, Satan moved in and out of Adam's body and got the idea that he could control him. Then, when Adam was commanded to prostrate, Satan said, "Do you see this one you have honored above me? If you delay me until the day of resurrection, I will surely destroy his descendants, except for a few." Prophet Muhammad said that Satan could move in the human body. In fact, the Quran states that jinn are created from a smokeless fire, that is, from the non-material part of fire, that is, from subatomic, photon-like particles. Today, paranormal researchers state that dimensional beings are composed of a radiation-like substance. There is a quantum field around us that can be seen with Kirlian photography, and according to our belief, beings made up of subatomic particles, such as jinn, can feed on the subatomic quantum energies released by our emotional and mental energy. When we do good and righteous deeds, that is, when we create brain chemicals with emotions and thoughts in accordance with our nature, it is beneficial for us and makes us strong. However, when we do evil deeds, brain chemicals contrary to our nature are formed. And although this does not completely make us unhappy, it makes us unhappy in certain areas and weakens us. In other words, certain energies in our magnetic field decrease and disappear. This situation proves that the negative energies created as a result of evil are used as food by evil jinns.
For example, one of the most extreme points of mental disorders caused by jinns is suicide. Jinns cause suicide, right, Haja? Because suicide is one of the biggest sins in Islam.
The situation with reptilian aliens is on a similar line. Anyway, the purpose of reptilian aliens is to obtain as much human energy as possible. Because they feed on the human soul. Reptilian aliens feed on human pain, depression, sadness, and fear. They especially feed on fear energy.
David Berkowitz, better known as Son of Sam, claimed a demon who took possession of his neighbor's dog commanded him to kill. Herbert Mullen, who committed 13 murders in California in the early 1970s, claimed voices in his head told him he had to make human sacrifices to prevent a cataclysmic earthquake.
The fact that bad jinns want us to commit sins is not only because of a sense of revenge, but also because they feed on the negative energy created by evil and gain power over us and in our world. People who ask for help from evil jinns through magic must first do what the evil jinns, that is, evil aliens, want in order to get this help. It's just like a commercial transaction. To summarize, the evil jinns say, commit any sin for us, that is, create negative brain chemicals with your thoughts that are against your nature. In this way, create a magnetic corridor for us with negative magnetism and give us power. Then we will help you with whatever you want. So these requests of evil jinns are written in the spell books. When a person casts a spell, not only are the evil jinns willing to help, but at the same time, in accordance with quantum theory, a field of influence is created for the jinn in our 3D world. It is because of this system that polytheistic religions emerged in history. Thanks to magic, Humans communicated with evil jinn to receive help in exchange for something, and over time, they deified the evil jinn. The reason why priests of polytheistic religions were magicians is this: if a magician is satisfied with his magic trade with the evil jinns, he performs more magic and expands the influence area of the evil jinns. Of course, this trade is also beneficial for the evil jinns, because more evil energy means more food for evil jinns who feed on evil thoughts and more opportunities to dominate people, their eternal enemies.
Tu es avec la fille ou bien tu es avec le prêtre? Hein? أنطقنا الله الذي أنطق كل شيء. Avec le prêtre. Explique-nous cette religion, ça fonctionne comment? La religion des Malbars. Tous les sacrifices que nous faisons, oui.
C'est pour nous.
C'est uniquement pour les djinns.
Oui.
C'est pas pour le Dieu,
Non.
pour les esprits des ancêtres.
On est obligé de passer par là.
C'est-à-dire, vous faites semblant qu'il y a Dieu, qu'il y a les esprits des ancêtres.
Ah oui.
Mais c'est vous qui êtes derrière tout ça.
Voilà.
Et les gens donc vous adorent. C'est ça?
Oui.
Et en échange, qu'est-ce que vous leur donnez?
On leur donne rien.
Rien. Ah bon, d'accord. Et vous, qu'est-ce que vous gagnez dans ça?
De la nourriture.
C'est juste pour vous nourrir.
Et pour se moquer de
The jinn deceived the sorcerer by first saying, "By performing magic, you rule over us. You are very powerful. You have an army of jinn. You can make whatever you want." The jinn make this deception so that the trade does not stop, but in reality, it is not the sorcerer who rules, it is the jinn. When the sorcerer attempts to quit this business, they are exposed to evil by the jinn, because once the sorcerers have opened the door to the evil jinns, they have given the evil jinns a huge sphere of influence over their magnetic field. That is, they have given their control to the evil jinns.
As for their brethren the Satans, they draw them deeper into error and do not relax in their efforts.
In this case, the sorcerer cannot quit their job in any way and has no choice but to do the evil jinn's bidding. And at the end of this increasingly continuing trade, the evil jinns want the sorcerers to lead other people to evil, thus creating a larger sphere of influence and making people worship them. In past times, the reason for the sacrifice of children and humans was because of sorcerers,
And indeed, individuals of humankind used to invoke the protection of individuals of the jinn, so that they increase them in revolt against Allah. And on the day when he shall muster them all together, he will say to the jinn, O assembly of the jinn, you have seduced a good many of mankind. And their companions from among the humans will say, Our Lord, we did indeed benefit from one another, and now have reached the term which you had set for us. And yet some people have come to associate the jinn with Allah in His divinity, even though it is He who created them. They set up deities apart from Allah, hoping that they will receive help from them. Those deities can render them no help, yet these devotees act as though they were an army in waiting for them.
These verses summarize how idolatry was created by demonic jinns, that is, evil aliens. In short, people have associated the benefits they have obtained with the demons and have worshipped the demons for the sake of these benefits. In all idolatrous religions, people believe that they communicate with gods through sorcerers and shamans. In all polytheistic religions, shamans and sorcerers were considered messengers of the gods. So, as you can understand, since ancient times, sorcerers have worked as messengers of the jinn, and their task was to create as much magnetic openness as possible for these dimensional beings and to increase the influence of the evil jinns as much as possible. Ignorant people who witness extraordinary abilities in sorcerers accept them as messengers of God and do whatever they ask. And when these deceived people benefit from sorcery, this belief strengthens. People who consider sorcerers as religious figures also consider the evil jinns introduced by the sorcerer as gods. Eventually, people begin to worship the idols of demons. that is, evil aliens. According to ancient records, when Satan was compelled to speak the truth to the Prophet Muhammad, he answered the question, "Who are your messengers?" by saying, "Sorcerers." In conclusion, the essence of idolatry is sorcery. The reason why polytheistic religions, fear of these gods and these myths, are magnified by societies permeating every area is the growing trade of sorcery. There is a famous ancient Aztec saying, "We do not believe, we are afraid." This belief existed in the Inca, Aztec, and Mayan civilizations in the Americas, but it also existed in Mesopotamian civilizations. People feared rather than believed because as the influence of witchcraft increased, demons began to dominate people. People who wanted more help and benefits from the gods began to cast bigger and bigger spells. This increased the demons' magnetic field and their influence over people. Demons began to control people in a more physical way. Initially, demons who demanded wine and fruit sacrifices gained power and eventually demanded animal sacrifices, then human sacrifices, and finally, mass human sacrifices and sacrifices of babies. According to the records of European invaders, before America was conquered, the Incas and Aztecs sacrificed 40,000 people to their gods every year. Yes, you heard it right. 40,000 people were cruelly sacrificed annually. In that sense, if the Native Americans had not been slaughtered by the Europeans, they would have continued to slaughter themselves, and so perhaps they were repaid for what they had done and they got what they deserved.
Bon, Zuzula, alors, toi, quelle est ta relation avec l'Église?
Je suis liée directement à lui.
D'accord, tu lui fais le compte-rendu des activités?
Voilà.
Est-ce que tu lui remets une liste?
Oui, bien sûr.
La liste de qui?
De tous ceux qui ont un sacrifice et des cérémonies à faire.
Ah, tous ceux qui sont venus au temple,
Oui.
demander des sacrifices, de prendre des choses et tout ça, tu mets leur nom sur une liste et tu amènes ça à l'église.
Voilà.
Les présidents, ouais. Ouais. Et les rois? Ouais. Il y a beaucoup dans les pays arabes. Vous êtes avec eux? Et qu'est-ce qu'ils font pour vous? Beaucoup de sacrifices. Waouh! Genre quoi? Ils tuent des humains. Ouais?
Et le plus beau, le plus grand des sacrifices, c'est de tuer un bébé.
Le plus beau, c'est de tuer un bébé.
Oui.
D'accord. Tiens, Zuzula, vraiment, tu nous as fait beaucoup plaisir aujourd'hui.
The ritual of human sacrifice to the gods is already a very obvious magic ritual. It is blood magic, which is the most powerful magic because the greatest negative emotions are generated by human sacrifice. Undoubtedly, faith and religion bring positive thinking, that is, positive magnetic influence to people. Even those who do not understand the essence of religion have expressed the reality of the spiritual pleasure and positive effects that religion gives to people, saying that religion is an opium. Islam warns that when people engage in evil deeds, such as witchcraft, they fall under the influence of Satan, but when they engage in good thoughts and deeds that are commanded by the religion, they will be free from his harm. Verses and hadiths mentioning this relationship are abundant. In fact, we feel the state of fascination in our normal life. We have explained many times that the magnetic effect of dimensional beings on us is linked to the magnetic effects of our brain chemicals. When intense emotions create an intense magnetic field, it becomes easier for Satan to influence and penetrate us. For example, when someone is angry, Satan whispers to him to kill the person he is angry with, and the angry person is influenced by this whisper. Or when we are very happy, we become more inclined to immorality.
Satan who whispers in the breasts of mankind. Indeed, those who fear Allah, when an impulse touches them from Satan, they remember him, and at once they have insight.